This is your early morning 28storms.com cyclone update for Saturday, the 3rd of December. Starting first over Australia, we do see that there are some severe thunderstorms trying to develop, and that is in association with a surface trough interacting with a mid to upper level disturbance that's currently moving eastward over the Northern Territory. And we can certainly see some of this activity ongoing on the latest regional radar. And finally, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect, so please take note of that. The main threats will be damaging winds and flash flooding. Shifting eastward, we do come across an area of disorganized convection located to the northwest of Fiji, and you can also see this on the enhanced infrared, so there's certainly some active convection and some thunderstorm activity out over the open waters of the southern Pacific, but the good news is that the water vapor still shows that conditions are not very favorable for development. We have another approaching mid-latitude trough coming out of the Coral Sea, and there are still quite a lot of westerly winds immediately to the south of this area of convection. The latest low-level vorticity analysis of the southern Pacific does not show much in the way of any vorticity in this area, so that means that there's really not much near the surface, so that's not a good sign for any tropical cyclone development. And of course, the latest wind shear analysis is confirming our beliefs from what we saw on the water vapor that mid-latitude westerlies are dominating much of the region, and we can see that the wind shear values are exceeding 40 to 50 knots across much of the area. Now, as we shift our attention westward into the Indian Ocean, we see that the northern Indian Ocean has become a lot more quiet, and that includes the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea, where we really don't even see much in the way of any cloud cover. But down toward the south into the southeast Indian Ocean and toward the southwest of Indonesia, that is where we see that a medium chance of development is being expected by the U.S. Joint Typhoon Warning Center, and the Bureau of Meteorology is also giving the same feature a moderate chance of formation by early next week. But as of right now, as we can see on the latest microwave satellite pass, there's really not much in the way of any significant organization near the surface, so this system still has a long way to go before becoming a minimal tropical cyclone. The latest low-level vorticity analysis shows that the vorticity max has not really strengthened over the last 24 hours, so the system has not shown any signs of organization just yet, and we also have a weaker area of low pressure located even farther out to sea here to the east of Madagascar. The latest precipitable water animation over the last 72 hours does reveal that the area of low pressure here is slowly beginning to get its act together, but we may have some dry air intrusion coming in from the southeast, and that may allow for tropical development to occur a little bit more slowly than we would otherwise anticipate. Furthermore, we still have quite a lot of mid-level easterly flow to the south of this powerful mid-level ridge that is still present over the Indian subcontinent and Bay of Bengal, so that mid-latitude feature has not been in any hurry to go anywhere, and that's allowing for the vertical wind shear near the equator to stay above average, and we can also see it very clearly as denoted by some of the yellow, orange, and red colors. But the good news for this tropical disturbance is that it's continuing to drift a little bit more toward the southwest, where the easterly winds are a little bit lighter, and these blue colors generally denote areas that are experiencing less than 10 to 15 knots of vertical wind shear. So with all that being said, some slow development is expected, and it very well could become a minimal tropical cyclone over the next 72 to 96 hours. But as always, the main question soon becomes, does this tropical cyclone or potential cyclone have any chance of impacting any land areas? Well, this is the latest 500 hectopascal forecast from the ECMWF model, and our developing system should not be moving much over the next 48 to 72 hours due to the lack of any significant steering currents. But as we go into 72 hours, notice that we do have a little bit in the way of mid-latitude troughing, returning to the southeast Indian Ocean with an associated mid to upper level low. And as we go into day 4 and day 5, our tropical system very well could make a turn more toward the southeast as that mid-level trough begins to approach and attempt to bring the storm closer toward the Australian coastline. The good news is that along with this mid to upper level trough comes the presence of moderate to strong westerly wind shear, so even if our tropical cyclone were to inch closer toward the Australian coast, the odds of it maintaining tropical cyclone status with such strong winds present in the mid to upper levels would be slim to none. Furthermore, if it continues moving more toward the south, it will eventually move into much cooler water temperatures located along the west coast of Western Australia. An alternative scenario being brought forth to us by the GFS model is indicating that the tropical cyclone very well could miss the first trough, which would allow it to spend more time over the open waters of the South Indian Ocean, therefore giving it a little bit more time to strengthen. But then a second trough begins to come into the picture, and toward the day 7 and day 8 time frame, the tropical cyclone still ends up being relatively close to the western Australian coastline, but the same problems exist in the medium range. If the system were to come closer to Australia, it would be the result of a trough, and along with that trough, we would still have a lot of strong vertical wind shear and cooler waters to contend with just toward the south. So the tropics are fairly quiet on this Friday. We're still going to continue monitoring the potential system in the southeast Indian Ocean, but we are not expecting any significant impacts along any coastal areas just yet. And although the active phase of the Madden-Julian Oscillation is spreading more so into the maritime continent and South Pacific, there are no signs of any additional tropical development in the 7 to 10 day model guidance so far, but we will still continue to monitor things here for you at 28storms.com/cyclone on a daily basis.